Good morning, everyone. It is Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I have quite the story for you today, and I have to say, I would like to thank several of my subscribers for sending me screenshots and sending me messages on Instagram and on Facebook regarding this story. Many of you said you love these kinds of stories, not like I love to talk about, the tragic passings of children, but they said you love to talk and dissect these types of organizations, and I think you would like this story. So let's start there. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome back to my channel if you are a subscriber, and to all of my members in chat, I see you and good morning. Today we're going to talk about a story that's coming out of Redding, California. Now, if you're familiar with this channel, you know that I have a keen interest in discussing radical belief systems, not necessarily traditional belief systems, but radical belief systems that have people believing supernatural things or going so far west or east or north of a specific doctrine that it becomes problematic and maybe almost dangerous. In this situation, we have a family in Redding, California that is part of an organization called Bethel. Bethel is a large non-denominational church that claims a lot of things, of many things, faith healing, healing. They even have a school, and we're going to jump all into that. But it starts with a request from one of the members of their worship team, so someone that's a singer in their band. Now, Bethel is most well known for their band, Bethel Music. They have a record label, they tour, they make music for worship. I went to a church years ago that actually played Bethel music as a part of worship, and I used to have on Spotify music by them. The music is very dynamic. It is beautiful if you love that type of music, and I used to love it. And there was a song that was on one of their albums called Everbee. I used to love that song when I went to church. I am now an atheist, but that doesn't mean I didn't at one point enjoy this type of music. Now, the woman who sings the song, coincidentally, is the mother that's part of this story, which I thought was odd. I saw her photo and I was like, that's the woman that sings Everbee, which was one of my favorite songs when I was going to church. So tragically, her daughter, Olive, passed away last Saturday. Now, according to a report on the Sacramento Bee, they said that police in Northern California confirmed that on the weekend death of a 2-year-old girl, and the child's family and community are praying for a resurrection. So Sergeant Brian Torum of the Redding Police Department told in an interview with McClatchy News, they said, "We responded originally to a medical call on Saturday morning around 6 a.m. and it resulted in a death. The little girl, Olive, had stopped breathing in her family's Redding home and could not be revived that morning," her family said in a post on social media. They've been asking for a resurrection for Olive ever since, with the church actually supporting this and leading it of its members. And this is a very large organization. There are 9,000 members. It's international. They have online services. They have an online school. This is a big, big church, multi-million dollars, lots of money, lots of funding, well known, okay? And according to this, they have been asking for everyone to help bring her back to life, okay? But according to the police, they say that she was brought to the coroner's office. She passed away and was pronounced dead at the hospital. And she was sent to a coroner's office, and a full autopsy had been completed. So Torum said that they send any child's body to a coroner in the event that it needs to have an autopsy. And they said that the police are also looking into and investigating her death, because it's not common for a 2-year-old to just simply stop breathing. That doesn't mean the parents are under investigation, but rather they're investigating the circumstances. Now, according to it, what they said is if it's unexpected, we'll open up a case to figure out how it occurred, and it's by no means a point of suspicion, but we have to investigate what happened. He went on to say that the autopsy has been done. There's no official result at this time. It's still early, and we're still talking to witnesses and going through information, and it takes time. So that's the reality, okay? They have done everything. The child passed away Saturday morning. They attempted to resuscitate at home. They transported to a hospital. Hospital pronounces the little girl dead. And then the body is then transported to the coroner. The coroner does an autopsy, and they are still awaiting results of final conclusions by the coroner, okay? But despite the reality of that, the mother of the child went to social media and she said this: "We are asking for prayer. We believe in Jesus, who died and conclusively defeated every grave, holding the keys to resurrection's power. We need it for our little girl, Olive Elaine, who stopped breathing yesterday and has been pronounced dead by doctors. We are asking for bold, unified prayers from the global church to stand with us in belief that he will raise this little girl back to life. Her time here is not done, and it is our time to believe boldly and with confidence, wield that King Jesus paid for. It's time for her to come to life." And then every day since, she has been sharing resurrection requests. So day 3 is a really good day for a resurrection. We are overwhelmed with gratitude by outpouring of love for us and faith for Olive. Jesus is faithful and true, and he's riding in with the victory he brought with Olive. Olive Elaine means victorious awakening. We call on the might all sufficient name of Jesus, and we call you back to this name, sweet girl. You will live. Thank you for your faith-filled declarations. Keep them coming. She also shared a video of her and her group singing and dancing and praising and asking again for her to come back to life. Day 4, and then day 5, it's still a really good day for resurrection. I've never been more grateful for Jesus and his endless worth of love, trust, and faith. So obviously people have been this story has sort of taken on a life of its own, because there is the official word, and I don't mean to laugh, it's more like it's hard to fathom that it's gone on this long, okay? The official word from the police and the coroner is this little girl has passed away. She has had an autopsy, meaning they have cut her and examined her body and, looked at her organs, and, once you are and she has been laying in a morgue ready for burial since then, okay? So there's been a lot of pushback from people regarding this, because it's so it's just a really odd request, right? But the pastor, his name is Bill Johnson, he took to Instagram to answer questions, and he said that we have a biblical precedent. Jesus raised the dead. Not only that he introduced himself as the resurrection and the life, he also says in the video that it's known for how long the church members will be continuing to pray for her resurrection, because we're kind of in the middle of a journey right now. So basically he has been asking people to, request this resurrection, and that it's a requirement that we do this, because this church also has a belief in supernatural healing and faith healing, okay? So this isn't outside of the realm of what this church believes. Now, one of my subscribers who actually lives in this area said, "Katie, you have to look into this place. They are a cult. This place they have taken over our local government. They have paid for the police department to get stuff built. They are in our local city council now. They bring people in on visas, and people come in and sell everything to come here to take classes that don't apply anywhere else." She said that they lay on top of graves to try to soak in the spirits of people. She said they don't believe in the gospel, but they have a different belief system. I've watched videos of them, and the pastors walk through the halls or the aisles, and they perform miracle healing while people are sitting there during a normal service. They have healing rooms where people can go to and be prayed over in terms of if they have an illness. So she said that this is no good and that this is a really bad example of what's going on in Redding. Other people are extremely just outraged because what else is going on? The pastor is also encouraging people to go to donate to a GoFundMe. And this is from the GoFundMe, and it says, early on December 14th, Kaylee and Andrew's beautiful little girl, Olive, unexpectedly stopped breathing in her sleep. She was 2 years old, vivacious, full of wonder, full of life. Through all of this, our desire is to bless, honor, and support the family in the coming days. Please join us with your prayer, your solidarity, and your financial support. We don't want the parents to have any concerns over finances throughout this situation, nor do we want to limit the generosity of those who want to support the family. GoFundMe requires a goal. However, any amount of the family will be blessing to them. All funds will go directly to them. And then it's listed as accidents and emergencies, but it's set up by people directly from the church with a goal of $100,000. They've already raised over near $53,000, with many people suspecting that part of this money might end up in the hands of the church. This church, again, has multi-millions of dollars and has many people wondering if this church has the amount of money that it has, and she is a leader on their worship team, why wouldn't they be able to provide her funding without having to ask the congregation for more? So there's been some criticism here. Obviously, you cannot raise people from the dead. That's just scientific impossibility. But to really understand more about this, we kind of have to understand more about this church, okay? So according to the Cult Institute, they have healing rooms there. So every Saturday morning from 9 to 10:30 a.m., there are 2 large rooms that you can go to get transformed into at the Healing Rooms Ministry. They have an acting director where healing rooms generally see 100 or so visitors, or up to 300 on a busy weekend. They have 4 teams with about 70% work with the healing rooms. They pray over visitors, commanding the body be healed. They speak in tongues and invite the presence of the Holy Spirit through impartation and laying on the hands. They perform music in order to do so. They also have a school called, so basically what this is it's a non-denominational church. It's charismatic and based from the Assemblies of God in the Pentecostal belief system, but they've walked away from the Assemblies of God, and they are now non-denominational. They have a school so members can take classes, which are very expensive. It almost seems to have a whole subset of the faith system and then the school system, where it starts to look a little bit like Scientology, because members have to pay a lot of money to take these classes. And they have a school of supernatural ministry. And it's a school that teaches people how to perform miracles on people. So they learn how to perform signs. They learn how to identify signs of wonder. They learn how to heal illnesses. It's like Hogwarts or something. I've never seen anything like this. And the dean of that school says that leaders who are willing to pay who are willing to pay any price to live in purity, power, and community because they are loved by God, whose manifest presence transforms worlds, lives, and culture. And the goal is that every student should know how to drive out demons, heal the sick, and preach the kingdom. Yikes. So is it really any wonder at this point that this is what their church members are then saying, well, we need to resurrect Olive because we can heal the sick. We have a school of supernatural healing or supernatural ministry. So there's a lot of questions here in relation to, like, why would this continue to go on? Why is there a GoFundMe that has like $100,000 goal? Why is one of the pastors, part of the team leading this effort? And then there's this other aspect. They have an actual team at the church called the Dead Raising Team. So it started in 2008. And this group actually is mandated to protect life, property, and environment. And they pray over, instead of calling for the police when an accident happens, they pray over them and pray to restore people back to life. And then the church claims that through that, they're healing people. At one point, when they sat down to interview him, Bill told a reporter that they just healed another brain tumor of cancer. And they said, we have a lot of this kind of stuff happen. It's verified by doctors. They do the test and the cancer's gone. We have done a lot of these sorts of things, miracles. So anytime you have a church promoting faith healing and teaching people how to faith heal and not even going off the gospel, this is definitely a sign of an organization that is one that many people might want to shy away from. So they're making headlines right now for this specific church, which claims to be Christianity, but I don't see anything Christian in terms of these types of things, because most Christians will say God's will be done, and that death means that the child will be with Jesus, and that you must trust God's time and God's plan. And if God has made the decision, you don't question God. And this church is saying, we know more, we know better, we do question, we push back, and God can make miracles happen. Well, I'm sorry, a lot of people obviously at this point have gotten to a point where they're frustrated because they say that Olive now, Bill admitted on Instagram yesterday or 2 days ago that Olive hasn't even been at the church the entire time they've been holding these services. While they're praying for resurrection, poor little Olive is literally laying in a morgue, probably in a vault in the morgue, waiting for burial. They're not praying over her. They're not even with her. She's laying there in a morgue by herself, completely gone, and they are having this pomp and circumstance. And it makes you wonder, I don't blame the parents here at all, because Kaylee clearly has been misled by Bethel that this is even a possibility. And the fact that the pastor is entertaining this and then requesting people donate, and then also going on and understanding that there's been this massive social media movement to wake up Olive, at some point it becomes irresponsible of the pastor to continue to encourage this type of behavior. She's a mother to another little girl who needs her, and she needs to properly grieve. And it's the responsibility of pastors, families, and friends to help people that are going through the death of a loved one, so that they don't get stuck in this delusional belief system that a child that has been through a full autopsy can come back to life. There's no way. So while some people criticized me sharing this and saying on Instagram, saying that I don't have empathy for this family, I 100% have empathy for this mother. She has gone through so much, and little Olive needs to be laid to rest. And the mother needs to properly start her grieving process. And it's the responsibility, if she is in a church, for a church leader to take the steps to help them properly grieve and help them through that. I don't have to be a believer to know that what's going on here is exploitative and irresponsible, and that people in the community are saying that this organization is a cult. In fact, let me read you something from a change.org. Let me leave you with this in relation to what the locals feel about this organization in their community. And so from a change.org, which is saying keep Bethel Church from taking over Redding, California, they write, "We need to remove this church's grasp on our community. They are taking over our housing, our restaurants, and our medical offices, and imposing their personal religious beliefs on anyone and everyone who comes and crosses their path. The church is recruiting people from all over the world to come to Redding and somehow pay for their supernatural school of ministry. People sell everything they own, homes, cars, and leave their families to come to Redding and attend Bill Johnson's church. The members and elders of the church have crept into our city politics, and its members receive special treatment from sources throughout the county. These students have speeding tickets dropped, get away with attempted murder, bribe police officials with money. Yes, that's right. Bethel Church has given our police department over $1 million. Bethel Church believes that and practices in gay conversion therapy for people or members who believe it may be that you can pray away the gay. This church brings people on work visas to crowd our city, all the while they ignore the requests from the people to simply be left alone, to take their church elsewhere. Cult members do not belong in politics. These people lay upon the graves of individuals to soak up their spirit. These people have their members believe that gold glitter falls from the ceiling in their church. They are creeping in the heads of our children through schooling. They must be stopped. So this is like not only faith healing, they're also practicing conversion therapy. So they're probably luring people in a multitude of ways. We can cure the gay, and we can also raise the dead and cure your cancer. And all of that is exploitative and harmful. So, and this is just sort of a bigger representation of what's going on with the church right now that kind of demonstrates what the impact is on the people that get involved and how it can influence their choices. And my hope is that eventually they can realize what they're doing is wrong. I don't expect them to with it being a multi-million-dollar business, but I think we need to stop the encouragement of this and help bring the family or others in this to realize that this isn't possible, that they have been conned, and that poor little Olive needs to be laid to rest. So I will include a link to Bethel in my description, and if you have any questions, concerns, or anything you want to say, leave them in the comments below. Make sure you check me out on Twitter at WOACB official. Also on Facebook at facebook.com/withoutacrystalball, and on Instagram at withoutacrystalball. I want to thank several of my subscribers for providing me the information and leading me in directions related to this story. And I also want to say thank you for watching, and I will be back in a little while. Bye, guys.